Gus, remember how we were working on my paperwork for the court? To send it in, to notice the court. So they're working in error, saying that I'm a man, and you taught me, who you're writing it to, et cetera, et cetera.
You got to know who you're writing it to, and you got to separate it. One of the mistakes that I was making still maybe 3 months ago is I was putting everything into one notice, and Karl got on my case about it. I went back and looked at his paperwork, and sure enough, he's got everything separated.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. Hey, check this out. I've got my first notice. It's literally one sentence, and it's like it says, "I am Rodrigo Guerrero is an idiot to your society and cultures." That's my first notice. And the top is notice, and it's got like the obligation number and the court case number, and that's it. Is that all I need to do for the first notice?
And you put the definition of idiot in there as an example?
Yeah, that's the question that I was asking Karl earlier, and I'm like, is this contradictory? Because I did put it in. It says layman, and then it's got person lacking professional skills. In brackets, it says opposed to writer, soldier, skilled workman, literally a private person. So is that contradictory from the person?
It's a private person without specialized knowledge of a particular subject. That's the part you want to put in there. I don't have it in front of me, submit.
And you're right. And if you're calling me, if you're inviting me to participate in this particular subject, I'm telling you up front, I have no knowledge of what you're asking me to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're inviting somebody to a dance. It's like, honestly, you want me to perform the Charleston. Honestly, I have no competency in doing the Charleston. Now, I could do the shuffle, I could do the hustle, or I could do the Monterrey, or whatever they call it, but I have no competency in the Charleston. So you're basically saying, please excuse me for my incompetency, for my idiocy, but at this time I'm not aware of where there's a requirement in law that I be proficient in the Charleston, in legalese. Can you please direct me, if I'm in error, to the law that requires a man to be, competent in legalese, to be a legal person? Can you please direct me where I could find this in law, where there's a requirement for I, to me, a man, to accept the title of that of a legal person?
Yeah, so now we're getting into it. That would be the second notice?
That could be the third or fourth notice.
Okay.
I mean, everything I do is boom, notice, boom, notice, boom, notice, boom, notice. Just short, sweet, boom, one sentence, boom, two sentences, boom, notice.
Another thing I wanted to ask you, who am I sending the notice to? Because you said find out who the prosecutor is, right? Okay. And look, not to be contradictory, but...
find out the man or the woman who's moving the case. Like here in the United States, they're called attorney generals. They got a state attorney general that moves the case. Is in 99% of the court cases we have here in the United States, there's somebody who's the representative of the people of the state, known as the attorney general.
Okay, so I write a letter to them, and do I also put a notice into the court case?
You're not a letter to them. You write a letter to him or her.
Yeah, sorry, then the prosecutor, him or her, yeah.
Maybe in Australia there's 2 or 3 attorney generals, but down here in the United States we only got 1.
Yeah, no, one, yeah. I know we got an attorney general, but the prosecutor was the one. Is that the man that was sitting in court that didn't?
No, he's an assistant to the attorney general. He's just the assistant. You get sent it to the assistant, but you better let the man in charge of that man know what this man is also doing. It's nice to let it's nice to if I'm sending you out to represent me, and I'm giving you crap, or my representative is giving Gus crap. Just because Gus pitches off at my representative doesn't mean that I ever got an earful of it. Doesn't mean that my representative ever fucking got back with me and says, hey, the guy Gus that I'm prosecuting for you, I'm doing it because you got too much other stuff to do. I'm really pissing him off. It's like, you really off? Why? How are you pissing him off? Well, he's really pissing me off. Why? Because he's putting all this crap in it. What is he doing? What is he writing? Holy shit. We got a man in court? Yeah, some clown thinks he's an effing man. We got a situation here. I'll be down there, and let me take care of this. I got this covered. I'm the boss. I'll come down there, and I'll handle it on my own. Thank you anyway, but thank you. Obviously, you don't know what you're doing, and I'll take over from here. It happened to me in Alabama. That's why I put that recording on my website, because I was beating the crap out of the attorneys in Alabama. So, finally, when I called up the governor's office, I called the governor in Alabama, and I say, hey, is whatever the attorney's name was at the time. It's like Charles Durning there. It's like, no, Charles isn't doing your case anymore, Mr. Lentz. We got another guy named Pete Jackson. So all I did was call up and say, hey, can I talk to attorney Charles Durning? And I called the governor's office, and they knew me by my voice that this is Karl Lentz. So when I tell people, hey, can you call the governor's office where you live? And they say, oh, hi, Karl, how you doing today? That's ridiculous that I became so familiar with that governor of Alabama. So what was even funnier is they finally put a competent attorney in the position to talk to me because everybody else had no effing clue what I was doing. That's the only recording I have of the thousands of phone calls that I've recorded on my cell phone or on my computer. It's the only one I uploaded on the website was me talking to an attorney for the state of Alabama who knew exactly what I was doing without me having to explain one damn thing to him. He knew everything I was doing, exactly where I was going with the lawsuit, exactly the difference between the court, this court, federal court, United States District Court. He knew exactly what I was doing. And when I said to him, do you understand that some magistrate of the United States District Court trespassed upon my federal court and converted my claim into a complaint that I gave him 24 hours to dismiss that ridiculous complaint that he put on in my behalf because he's going to lead my opponents, you, to believing I'm complaining about something when I'm actually truly making a claim. He says, yes, I seen what you told the magistrate, that the magistrate who was acting for the United States District Court better dismiss this ridiculous civil rights complaint because you have no civil rights, because you know the difference between a complaint and a claim. I said, oh, finally, I got somebody on the other side who knows exactly what I'm doing. I'm not complaining about any damn thing. I'm making a claim. And the United States District Court magistrate basically kidnapped my case, mutilated it, trespassed upon it, converted it from a claim to a complaint, which he has no right to do, and I'm going to hold him liable as a man. So when people say to me, Paul, your case got dismissed, why don't you look at the letter before the magistrate dismissed my case and see the letter that I gave the magistrate saying, you better dismiss this complaint, and I mean now. I mean, not tomorrow, not that I said, when I wake up in the morning and I took on PESA, this complaint that you put in on my behalf, you opened up my case, looked at it, it clearly was a claim. It has nothing to do with the United States. It's totally a federal matter. You converted it into a United States District Court matter. You changed it from a claim to a complaint. I'm going to hold you liable as a man, not as a magistrate, because I never evoked the power of the United States District Court magistrate to act on my behalf. You acted as a man, and you decided to open up my case, my suitcase, and rearrange my socks, my suit, my tie, and you put a tutu and a pair of pink ballet slippers in it. What the hell are you doing? Get your damn crap out of my case. Leave my effing case alone. Seal that damn case up, and when I'm ready to move it before the jury and open it up and try it on before a trial by jury, I'll let you know. Until then, don't trespass on my case. That's what I did.
Yeah. That's okay. And to pull yourself out of a case being a party of somebody else's case?
You can just say at this time I can't afford it. Afford means to move forward. Either financially you can't afford it, you can't move forward because you lack the time, or you lack the capacity or the competency to go forward with it. Afford, to move forward. It has nothing to do with just money. Okay? There's many ways to describe moving forward. I can't afford it at this time. I'm incompetent. I'm injured. My mom is sick. There's plenty of reasons why I can't afford to move forward with the title of defendant at this time because it's going to cause me harm, injury, or loss. Okay? It's voluntary. It's just being married. You volunteered to be married. Now you're involuntary. You're not married. You volunteered to be a defendant. Now you're unvolunteering.
Right. Okay. So would that be a letter still to the Governor General, the prosecutor of that case, right?
The Governor General is the lead prosecutor who prosecutes cases on behalf of the province, territory, state, district. Right. That's the man you'd write to, not the governor. See, because down here in the United States, the Attorney General has more power than the governor does. He's the one that decides whether he's the one who's protecting the state. He's the one who stands up and defends the state, not the governor.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, he's got more power, Governor General. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's who you want to talk to. You want to talk to the man who actually prosecutes, and he's basically the law of the state is the Attorney General. So if it's Governor General, if that's what you call it in Australia, yes, he's the man, the go-to man.
Yeah. So it's not. So you're noticing that man, not actually noticing the man who's sitting in the court.
The man who's sitting in the court, you could say, "This is what I gave to your boss."
Yeah. So you notice everybody. Sentence to everybody.
Well, right. You know what I'm saying. You know, and I know what you mean by everybody, not the 3,812 people that live in the. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, of course. I know.
Right, because when you put a notice in the court, that's what you're doing. You just put a simple notice, not a judicial notice, just a notice that is making it. They're supposed to have. The world is supposed to have access to that notice. So you are putting a notice into the court. You're not specifying what kind of notice. You're just making a notice in general. A general notice is going out to the whole entire world.
Yeah.
But if it's a judicial notice, you're just directing it directly to the judge.
Yeah.
And you don't. The odds of me making a judicial notice is like maybe one time out of 100. I'm actually going to direct something directly to the judge because. Very rarely do I just want the judge to see it. I want the whole world to see what's going on. I want to
the judicial notice is still only just a notice to the judge. It still doesn't mean that you're jumping into the statutory jurisdiction, right? It's just a judicial notice that's going to the man acting as a judge.
But the reason why it is is because you are one of the subordinates to his authority.
Yeah.
You're playing the role of plaintiff, the defendant, respondent, Marvin, appellee, appellant. You're playing one of the lower positions. And you're telling the judge, can you please take notice and look this way towards me, what I have to show you.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah.
It's like the king or the queen. You're trying to draw his audience. You're trying to draw his attention. Very rarely would I want to do something like that. The only reason I'd want to do something like that is like say I was in the middle of a trial and I accepted the title and the position and I allowed him to make a ruling on or against me. And then I'd want to say, Judge, please take notice of this over here. Could you please take notice of what is what,
Yeah.
Because I submitted myself to his authority and ruling. So very rarely, I'm going to say I would never submit myself to his authority because I'm sure there's plenty of times where it would be beneficial to have, somebody settle a dispute between an adversarial party in a civil manner. So I'm not saying I would never, have the judge take notice because I might be in court against my fellow man one day. And I'd say, look, Your Honor, please notice this over here. That's his story. Now, can you take a look what I have over here?
Yeah. It's like a decision to exercise your right hand or your left hand. If you don't want to do it or you do it. That's your right, yeah.
Right. So there's times when you use that tool. Very rarely will I use that tool, pull that tool out of my tool belt because very rarely do I need it. Because very rarely will I ever believe that I'll ever stand in court or against my fellow man.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to believe. The only reason why I would be if somebody said, some like 90-year-old blind lady said that I raped her, and I say, ma'am, what makes you think it was me? Well, I could, feel your nose. It's like, okay, ma'am. Well, I'm going to have to challenge you in court over that one. But other than that, because there's no way I could settle something like that with some 90-year-old blind lady. So how am I going to settle that? I don't want her to keep walking around telling everybody I raped her. No, ma'am, if you don't stop, we're going to have to settle this in a court of law. Because you're causing harm. Right. Now I'm going to have to ask the judge to make a ruling on my behalf. I'm going to say, Judge, please notice this. I don't have a nose, or the nose that she's describing certainly isn't mine. And he's to take notice of what I'm saying, and he'd say, okay, I noticed that, okay. I'm going to make a ruling, and like I said, the odds of me ever having to go to court against my fellow man would have to be because of some ridiculous and majorly outrageous, claim that they're making, that I have to feel that I have to defend. Like somebody says, you're the biggest asshole. Okay, I can live with that. That's fine. I'm not going to sue you over that. That's cool. It's going to have to be something really amazing you're going to have to say that I've done to you that I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to tolerate that. Like he's going to say, I cause harm, injury to my children. I'm not going to let you just say that and get away with it. There's going to be a line that you're going to cross, and I'm going to say, you better stop, or your teeth are going to lay on the floor, or we're going to settle this in court. I said that to U.S. Marshals. I said, look, you're going to cross the line, and if I'm telling you you're crossing a line, I'm going to tell you to stop. If I'm crossing a line, just tell me to stop. We're going to settle this man to man. If you knock my teeth out, you break my legs, I punch you in the face, we go around and around across this table a couple of times, that's fine. I'm into a good sport. I'm into a good row. I don't care. I'm into rough and tumble. I don't give a shit how you guys want to play this. But I'm telling you, when we walk out of this room, this conference room, whatever happened between you and I, man to man, and him, man to man, whatever happened between us, man to man, stays here. It stays here. I don't want you to sue me. I'm not going to sue you. If the tempers rise, we flare, we get angry at each other, we wind up at the fisticuffs here in this room, that's fine. You know, but it stays here in this room. It's just business. But it's nothing personal. When we go out that door, we go back to just being a man and a man, okay? You know, so after about 2 or 3 minutes, you can listen to Angela's show years ago when I explained what happened when I came to the U.S. Marshal's office, like that day, and she would happen to be Thursday. And within 3 or 4 minutes, they shut off the recorder, and the U.S. Marshal said, "You're a great man. This is crazy. You're a good man. What the hell are they so scared of down there in Alabama?" I said, "Well, I'm glad you asked." I said, "I'm going to pull the government's charter." He's like, "What? I'm going to pull the government's charter? They caused harm to their creator." What? Yeah, man created the government of the state of Alabama. I'm going to pull their effing charter. How are you going to do that? And I put the 4 pieces in front of them. I said, their state constitution, the Constitution. I said the statute in which they actually move under, and I said the power of the U.S. Marshal Service. I said, I'm going to use you guys to help me pull that charter. He said, how are you going to do it? I said, the way they did it back in the 1960s, the way in the 1970s they did it, and how Frank M. Johnson did, the district court judge. He did. He pulled every damn state agency's ability to function, and they made every state agency within the state of Alabama go through his office if they wanted to spend a nickel. So I'm going to do the same damn thing. The same damn thing. The name of this building that we're standing on is the Frank M. Johnson Complex. Why do you think they called it the Frank M.? Why do you think he was such an amazing judge back in the 60s and 70s? Because he was the king of Alabama. If the state government of Alabama wanted to fought, they had to ask his permission to do it. Because of so many civil rights violations they were committing in the state of Alabama back in the 60s and 70s, all their agencies were on parole, probation, some sort of federal guidance, some sort of overseer, because the state government was so corrupt, you guys had to come in and take it over. If you guys won't take it over now, I'll take it over. Frank M. He's like, well, how are you going to do that? Did Frank M. Johnson take it over? Well, yeah, Frank M. Johnson took it over. Why can't I take it over? I'm a man. I created the position as judge. I'm even higher than Frank M. Johnson is because he's just a judge. I'm a man. And they were like, wow, this is brilliant. I said, yeah, Frank M. Johnson did it as a judge. Why can't I do it as a man? He's like, yeah, he did do that, didn't he? Yeah, you're damn right he did it. Why can't I do it? So they're like, oh, yeah, I see where you're going with this. It's like, yeah, he did it. Why can't I do it? You're not a judge. I'm better than a judge. I'm a man. I'm a man. Man created the position of judge. Judge didn't make a man. No judge on planet Earth ever created a man. All the judges were created by a man. No judge ever created a man. I'm the ultimate creator here, not the judge. So it's funny, man. It's just like he said, this is amazing. Because the guy who was told me the U.S. Marshal Service was the attorney for the U.S. Marshal Service. He says, oh, my God, this is brilliant. This is so simple. I said, yeah. That's why they're scared. That's why they want to know who the hell I am. And I said, honestly, guys, I don't want to take over the government state of Alabama. I have a hard time rearranging my CD collection in alphabetical order. I certainly don't want to take over the government of the state of Alabama. Are you kidding me? The liability, responsibility, and duty I'd have? Oh, forget it. If I can keep my CD collection together for a week, I'm amazed. I said, I'm in no position to take over. But I just want to show them that it can be done. Yeah. Who's the ultimate creator here? Who answers to who? I'm tired of them thinking that they're going to sling me around like a yo-yo. I'm done. I'm going to show them it's man that you serve. Man don't serve you. You're the public servant. You serve me. That's all I'm trying to explain to them. And that's why they're scared shitless, because I'm figuring it out. That's why they're scared. They're not scared that I'm going to do anything to the judges. They're not scared. I said, sir, let me explain something to you. Every single freaking phone call I have to the governor's office, magistrate's office, judge's office, clerk's office, I have recorded. I have thousands of these things. I said, do you think I wouldn't record? Because I'm a big, goofy, scary guy. And you don't think that I thought that they were going to use you guys as muscle to scare me someday? Of course I knew they were going to use you to scare me. Of course I knew I was going to be sitting in this office one day explaining myself. But I have every single thing in writing and orderly. I recorded it. So there's no way in the world that you're going to listen to all these thousands of hours of audio and ever perceived one time that I committed extortion or communicated a threat to any judge or any officer of any court. I said, I am so scary, polite, it's sickening how nice I am on the phone to these people.
Yeah.
I said, it's scary how nice I write my paperwork. It's scary how sweet I am.
Hey, can I read you 3 sentences just to make sure to send it to the Governor General? Because I remember that hearing a lot of your phone calls about people making, almost like threats. I demand you to do this and telling you to do this and this, So can I read you 3 sentences that instead of, I'm not going to say the actual.
Okay, well, let me tell you one thing before you go too crazy about that. If you're a party to the case, if you haven't established your status as that of a man, they could threaten you, just like I could do with my kids. Say, hey, I'll break your freaking legs if you touch that lollipop one more time. Okay?
Yeah.
If I said that to the neighbor's kids, I'm going to jail. Okay? Because I communicated a threat to a non-party member or a outsider or a non-citizen. Okay? Or an illegal alien. Okay?
Yeah.
There you go. So go ahead.
All right, cool. So this is what I was going to write today. I, a man, Rodrigo Aguirre, did stand before the court as a man without any title on the 5th day of February 2015 as an idiot, ready to settle any debts or claims another man had against I, the man, Rodrigo Aguirre. Second sentence is, I believe that the court was operating in error and presumed I was before the court as a person, so I wish to correct the record.
Well, what you could do in the very first sentence, you could say, I stood before the court as a non-party member. Okay?
Yep. All right. Third sentence
if you don't like the way that rings, make it something else. Okay? I'm just winging it. Okay?
Yeah, no, it's just the word party.
That's good for over here, too, or no?
No.
Like you said, I was speaking to Gus last week, Thursday, and he helped me out a lot with this, and so I was making sure that I knew and understood every single word that's in this notice. So yeah, no, I like the word party, and it's all right.
Because, like I said, the way I like to do it, then it's like I made a stand before the court, or I took stand before the court, or I try to stay away from ed and ing like the plague.
Yeah, past tense and future tense.
It's just sloppy. It's just sloppy and lazy English language. Okay. But if you're comfortable with it, go for it. But when a judge sees that everything's in the present tense, he's going to say, holy shit, who knows how to do this crap?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I didn't study yourself, or Gus, or, we used to, before I went to court in February. So, to be honest, Gus knows this, but I studied a lot of Dean Clifford and a lot of the birth certificate fraud and, all that crap. So yeah, I was working off that, and I still had no idea. I studied 24/7 for about 3 months, and I still had court the next day, and I still had no idea what to write. So I literally was like, all right, shit, I'll just write it from my heart. My affidavit that I put in there, on that day, which I think saved my ass, because the judge saw my volition and my demeanor and whatnot. So that's why I believe I'm still not in jail, because he made a warrant out. This is what it says. Our records indicate that the above court has issued a warrant for your imprisonment. You must take immediate action to pay this warrant. If you don't pay, the sheriff will arrest you in prison. This was 6 months ago, and I only got a 1 month stay in February. I got a 1 month stay on 476 days.
Well, why didn't you say something very simply back to him? Is can you please define your?
Oh, okay.
Because obviously they're not directing it to the man; they're directing it to your what?
Yeah.
Your arrest. Your what? Your mama. Your what? Your what? Your as in one context. Your as a adverb, adjective. Your what?
Yeah. Your birth certificate, your speaker, your car.
A pronoun. What part of language is this?
Right. Okay.
Because we got a arrest for your. We got a warrant out for your arrest. Your what? Anything in particular?
Right. Yeah.
Is there a reason why I was say we have a warrant out for Timothy Smith?
Yeah, no, actually that makes sense. I'll read the third sentence, although, that makes a lot more sense just to write them a simple letter, hey, can you define your? But yeah, this was what I was going to write. No man came forward and spoke to make a claim against I, the man, Rodrigo,
You got to get rid of this fucking negative fucking vibe shit, man. And this is why it's funny. I'm a positive Pete, man. And you got to get rid of this negative Nancy bullshit. You can't say no, man, and not and never. You guys got to stop that fucking crap. I mean, I'm getting effing tired of correcting everybody with this no, never, not. It's a 2-year-old. You're acting like a little girl. You said, I do not. You say, at the time of the hearing, I do not believe. You could say, I believe that no man came forward. You just got to say, you can't say no man came forward. How do you know? Maybe you blinked. Maybe you farted. Maybe you got abducted by space aliens and they gave you a probe and they put you back down to Earth for 50 seconds and you missed the man who appeared. But you could just say, I believe that there was no man that was present at this time. You can't say no man appeared. How do you know?
Yeah.
You just say, I believe at that time. I do not believe I witnessed a man that appeared to testify to the contrary. Now I might have been abducted by space aliens. There's a flash I saw in a courtroom in my butt for about a week. So maybe there's an anal probe that happened. But, honestly, I don't remember seeing a man come forward. Did a man come forward and testify to the contrary? I don't believe I witnessed a man coming forth and testified, to the contrary. Say, do you believe a man came forward? Because I don't believe I witnessed anything of that nature that happened at that, before the court at that time. Maybe I missed something. Can you please, can you please? You see what I'm saying? You got to be more like understand. Yeah, and see that's what I'm saying. Everybody says I'm an asshole and everything like that. But man, I write the sweetest, nicest letters you could possibly imagine. When I'm on the phone with these pricks, I'm the nicest clown you could ever. I'm sweet and gentle, and it's ridiculous. I'm not giving them any room to send the dogs out at me and have me tasered and whipped and, chained and shackled, and because they're terrified by my actions or my letter writing or my paper. Ask Gus what paper terrorism, what happens to you when you do that crap.
Right, okay, yeah.
You got to be as pleasant as pie, just be sweet as it's sickening sweet. It's funny, like in England, they have a good rowing court. It's violent and it's fun, and you yell, and it's a lot of, it's a lot of fun because it's part of the sport. It's like tennis is played a certain way and basketball is played another. There's a different way you play it in different courts. Some courts you could go hog wild, and some courts you got to be as pleasant as pie. But like I said, it all depends. Like I said, I say to people, when I went to the court, with against the social services, by the time we got to the 10th, 15th, 20th trial hearing, we were going at it, man. It was fun. We just knocked down, dragged down. We were arguing it to the umpteenth level. We were going at it. A lot of fun. And but when we walked out of there, we just calmed down, acted civil to each other. We realized it was acting in court. We were acting as a defendant. He was acting as a prosecutor. I was acting. And then we walked out of the court. We're no longer acting as a defendant. Now we walk back out into the world as a man and another man. You just got to know when you're acting, and you got to cut to act when you're in a different situation. Now I'm in a different environment. Now I got a whole bunch of puppies or a whole bunch of children around me. I could have been the meanest, baddest, kick-ass bastard on planet Earth, and 10 seconds later, I'm the sweetest, kindest man to a puppy. And there's got to be a man. There's got to be a woman. There's got to be tough, and there's got to be soft. And I'm the tough. Everybody wants you to be soft in society nowadays. Everybody's got to be everybody's effing friend. Nobody can hurt nobody's feelings. Tough. I hate playing this effing game because I see you're just going to curl up in a ball and take a beating. Don't. Stand up. Get a backbone. You could be a 95-pound woman. Stand up and get a backbone. I'm not going to let you get your ass kicked by your sisters no more. You're not going to take that crap. And you're gonna make them think twice before they touch you again.